Hey y'all, today on the farm we're going to be harvesting butter beans. We went out there and picked just a few yesterday while it was raining. The fields are all underwater and they're muddy, but we're able to harvest some with the machine. We dropped them in the sheller lake yesterday and they shelled out great. So we're going to get out there in the mud and see what we can get done today. With traditional row crops such as cotton or peanuts or corn, you have a little bit larger harvest window. So if it's wet and muddy and raining, you can't get in the fields, you can postpone harvest a little bit. You have a little bit of leadway. But with produce, with vegetables, when it's time to get it, it's time to get it. When it's ripe, and it's only going to be ripe for a day or two, and then it's overripe. So if the conditions are not ideal when it's ripe, that's just something you got to deal with. If you're going to get out there in the field and bog around, make a mess, that's just what you got to do. Because when it's time to get the beans or time to get the peas or tomatoes or whatever you're growing, when it's time to get them, it's time to get them. You got to do what you got to do. Before we get started with the harvest today, I got a little bit of advice for you. You can take it literally or metaphorically. That is completely up to you. We've been getting rain every day for a long time now. I don't remember when it hasn't rained, and that's very unusual for us. But it currently is June 20th, and I just planted some watermelons. That is exceptionally late. People plant watermelons commercially in this area around the end of February. So June 20 is mighty late to plant watermelons, but the reason I did so is because when the Lord sends you rain, you should plant seeds. He has sent me rain in abundance, and I have planted in abundance. If you want to harvest, you got to plant. If you don't plant, you won't harvest. I'm traveling just under a half a mile an hour picking these butter beans, and the battle that I'm fighting all day is keeping that machine low enough but not too low. You'll see I'm not leaving a whole lot of butter beans out here, but occasionally there are some left down there on the bottom, and I can't get low enough to get them, because here's a bunch right there on that spot left. If the pods are fully made out on a limb, it's loaded down heavy with a good crop, that limb will lay over like these have done. They've laid over there on the ground. If I get my header low enough to pick that limb up and get all those pods, then I'm gonna pull a bunch of dirt into the machine. You don't want to do that. If you pull that dirt into the machine, it'll go back in the bag. And even with all the cleaning equipment and processing equipment I have in the shed, I cannot remove dirt from the butter beans. Once that dirt's in that bag, you can't separate it from the beans. Even during the shelling process and the cleaning process, we can't get the dirt off. So it's important not to get dirt on them in the field. I get asked a lot, can you hold my peas or can you hold my green beans until whatever day we're doing whatever, or we're not in town, or we're not available, we'll get here whatever day, can you hold them until then? And the answer is always no, because the way I ensure the best quality pea or the best quality butter bean is that I sell them as close to harvest as possible. When we harvest them, we process them the same day. Sometimes the peas we'll blow wind on overnight, but they're processed within 12 to 15 hours all the time. They're always less than 12 to 15 hours from the time they're picked to when they're processed, and rarely do I let a pea or butter bean spend 24 hours here from the time of harvest. So the way that I provide the best quality product is we move it as quickly as possible. In order to do that, no, I cannot hold your peas for a week while you're on vacation or doing whatever you're doing. I have to sell them quickly so they stay fresh and so that the quality is the best it can be. What is it, dude? It's about 6 o'clock. Mercer came up here to check on all the equipment, make sure it's working right, help me keep it fine-tuned and running just right. We've been picking butter beans all day, and it's supposed to come in and rain tomorrow. I can actually pick the butter beans a little wet. I picked some yesterday in the rain, and I can shell them without much problem with them wet. But peas cannot be picked wet, and they cannot be shelled wet. So I'm gonna stop picking butter beans right now because the rain's coming in tomorrow. We're gonna switch over to peas, and we're gonna pick, if the peas are doing right, if the maturity's right and they're picking right, we're gonna pick peas on into the night tonight. What we ran into with the last attempt to machine harvest was too many immatures, and this time I don't see a lot of immatures. Here's a handful of immatures right there, but there's not as many out here. There's more matures and some over matures. So the plan is we got the fan wide open on that machine, and looks like 80% of the crop right now is at optimal harvest. 80% is optimal harvest time. Maybe 15%. It may be 10-10. Maybe 10% is too immature and 10% is over mature. But it looks like about 80% is perfect. So we're gonna jump out here and roll with it, see what we can get. Just about a full bag. I've gone 15 yards, 15 good strides. Got just about a full bag there. Don't look like we're leaving a whole lot. That one's a good one. Yeah, we're not leaving much behind. I just hope it shells out right. Look how thick these things are. We're up here close to my waist, or around my waist, and these cream peas, man, they're loaded. They're still a ways off, man. These creams are just, they're ways off. This is a dandy. And you see those ones that are glowing yellow over there with all those pods up top? That's top pick cream over there. They're almost ready. So dandy's still a little ways off. One aspect of this job that you may not have thought about is during pea harvest out here, when we are actively selling peas and have peas available for purchase. As soon as the Facebook post hits that we are actively picking, it really begins. And then until we finish, the day we finish selling, or till about a week after we finish selling, I field well over 100 phone calls a day while I'm trying to harvest the peas and see that they're processed properly and exchange them for money with customers. So if you call me, don't feel like I'm trying to cut you off or whatever. I really don't have the time, because like I said, 100 calls in a day is not a busy day. It can easily hit 200 at peak season, and they can be anywhere from 5 a.m. in the morning till after 12 at midnight. People want to call and say, hey, get me 2 bushels of peas. Sounds silly, but that is reality. So during this season, during this few weeks where we harvest, it's a lot of work. I've told people that pea season is short. It only lasts about 2.5 weeks for me, but it seems like 4 months because it's 15 hours a day, 200 phone calls. It don't stop for a good 2.5 weeks. It is non-stop. We still got some room in here for some more peas, so I'm gonna keep on picking. We're gonna keep on rolling until we run out of bags or we run out of places to put peas, and then we'll wake up in the morning and do it all over again. I thank all of you for watching. I hope to see you next time.